Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Much appreciated. Now in today's video, I'm going to go through some of the short-term analysis of what's been happening to Bitcoin in the last few days and weeks and where it is heading by looking at the few important indicators as a guide. Now I'll also have a look at how the Ethereum price compared with Bitcoin price in the last bull market to give us some idea as to what will happen with the altcoins and give us an insight as to if and when to hold these altcoins with regard to Bitcoin. I know a lot of people keep asking about, when should we get into the altcoins and when should we switch over and what have you. Well, that chart actually gives a little bit of an insight and a guidance as to what may happen in this current bull market. So we just need to have a look at the previous bull market as to what happened between the two, and that will give us a nice guidance. Now, before we get cracking, I want to just remind people of the disclaimer that this video is purely for educational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. We're not financial advisors here. I hope and I expect people to do their own wider research before making any decisions to buy or sell in this market. So with that out of the way, without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so we'll start off on the 4-hourly chart by looking at the price action in the last few days. Now, as you know, we have this big channel that we drew. If I just zoom out, you'll be able to see where we are. So we have this channel. This is the pre-parabolic phase before we get into this channel here for our target of 300,000 up here at the end of next year. So this is where it is in relation to that. So we're going to look at this point here by looking at this chart here. There we go. So what we've got is we're creating this rising channel, the ascending channel here, which usually is bearish, and that's why it's called a bear flag, or you can call it a bear flag, but you can also change the lines to make it look like an ascending wedge, which again is a bear flag. There you go there. So we expect these to actually fall from these points here, but because the position has been, or the bullishness in the market has been so strong, then it really does seem as though that it wants to keep going higher and higher. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the these higher lows here, so we made a low here, a higher low there, a higher low there, a higher low there, and until we break one of these higher lows, we can't really say that the momentum has changed. So the momentum currently looks very bullish, especially when you look at the higher highs it keeps making. So we've got 3 higher highs here. It may well be now that the price may come back down here to retest this support level before we go back up to the 17.2, 17.3, 17.4 level here. In the last video, I did give you the price levels, which I'm expecting that if it breaks the 16,400 level, then more than likely it's going to go up to the next level, which is the 17,200 level. And it looks as though with the momentum, which is very, very bullish, it looks like it's going to be pushed up towards those levels. And if we do break the 17.2, 17.4 level, then the chances are we're going to end up going to the 20,000 level before a correction happens. So we'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell, but certainly there's a lot of bullish pressure which is pushing the market up. There isn't any let up at the moment on the price itself, as you can see with the higher lows and the higher highs. But as you'll see from the indicators, they may give us a clue as to what may happen shortly in the next few days, possibly in the next couple of weeks. The question is, when we do get a correction eventually, because these markets never keep going up, forever and ever, they do have a correction somewhere down the line, as we've seen from here. Whenever we've had a big rally, we do tend to get a correction following it, or have you. And I've shown you this in the past. Whenever we do get these, we tend to have a correction. So with these corrections do come along very regularly. So we are expecting a correction. In fact, we've been expecting a correction for the last few weeks, but this has been a very unprecedented move by Bitcoin. Instead of actually coming back from around this channel back down to the channel here as we were expecting. It's actually gone much further. So what can we expect in terms of a correction then? Because I know a lot of people unfortunately have got sucked into this price action, and it's up to people. If you can hold your nerve, then that's probably a better thing to do. But I can understand why people have got sucked into it, because the emotion is so strong that when people see the price moving up and they think they're losing out on the potential profits here. However, always remember, Bitcoin has a habit of punishing the bulls, punishing the people who make emotional decisions and try and get on board over here, thinking that the price is going to forever continue going up. And we all know, if we've been in the market long enough, we know that this doesn't actually occur. So what we want to do is, what point or how much will the correction be when it eventually comes? If it's here at the 20,000 level or 17,000, 18,000 level, whenever the correction is, when will it come back? The way to actually work it out is to look at the previous bull market and to have a look at what happened there. So if we go onto the weekly chart and we're looking at, so this is the channel that we're looking at currently, and it would be a good idea to measure this equivalent channel in the previous bull market, which was before the parabolic rise that we got, which we're expecting over here, before this blow off top around the end of next year. So if we have a look at when the market rises and to what extent the correction comes and how much the correction is and when the correction comes. So let's just concentrate on a few of these peaks here and have a quick look at the Fibonacci retracement and see that how much correction we can expect currently. So this is the time of around about the June 2015 to the July 2016. So in that period of time, and even we'll look at this peak here. So basically we'll look at the Fibonacci retracement, taking it from the bottom of the channel here to the top where it topped off here, and how far and when did it come back down. So as you can see, when it reached that top there, when it came back down, when we had the correction, it came back to this level here. Let me just draw that for you there. And this is the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. So after this big increase, it came back, and we all know with Bitcoin, it has a very strong affinity with the 61.8 on the way up as well as on the way down. So 61.8 is where it actually settled back down. So if we then have a look at the next peak, which was here, we can take that, start from this bottom here, where the market started to rise again, to this peak over here. And as you can see, again, once again, let me just zoom in so we can see a bit more clearer. We took the Fibonacci retracement up to the peak here. It came back down to this level here. And as you can see with that is the 61.8 level again. If we take the next peak was over here, there. So we do the same thing again, take it from the bottom over here. And once again, as you can see, the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. And this goes on continuously, actually. If you go further up during this bull market, you'll see that this is what tends to happen with Bitcoin. We do tend to get a retracement back to the 61.8. So if this is a good guide as to what may happen currently, let's have a look. This is the current channel we're in. So let's say it tops off where it is at the moment, just to give us a guide, because we don't know where it's going to be correcting from. But let's just take the current situation, that if it was to actually correct at these levels, if we take the Fibonacci retracement from these levels where it started this current rally, you can see that the 61.8 is running at around about the 12.5 mark. So if it came back down, it would settle around about here at the 12,400, 12,500 level. So this is where we're at. And if it goes further up, let's say it goes to 20,000 for argument's sake there, it would correct back to around about the 13.4, 13.5 level around here. So we'll have to wait and see when it corrects, but it looks to me that if the previous bull market is a guide, Bitcoin does tend to have an affinity with the 61.8, then the prices we can expect for a correction would be around about the 13.4, 13.5 level if it reaches 20,000 before it corrects, or at current levels to around about the 12,004, 12,500 level. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next few days and weeks to give us a better idea of what's happening. But certainly these are the things to look out for with Bitcoin. Okay, so if we have a look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, you can see quite clearly that it's actually at extreme greed at 86. Yesterday, it had reached 90. So we're really at the top end of that. And we all know that this is a contrarian indicator in terms of when this is very, very high in terms of extreme greed, we know that a correction is around the corner. But the question is, that doesn't mean it's going to be today or tomorrow. It could be next week, and there may be a little bit more to go yet. But certainly, these are not the levels that I would be climbing on board. But everybody has their own decisions to make. But certainly, this would be alarm bells for me. And if we look at the chart here, we've been here for a few weeks now. And if you compare that to in June 2019, when the market topped off last year at around about the 14,000 level, the crypto fear and greed index at that time was 95. So we topped off and we came all the way tumbling down here. So is that an omen for what's going to happen here? We're at the 86, 90 levels here. And we'll have to just wait and see until what happens. But this certainly doesn't seem very healthy to me. What is required is a healthy correction at this time. If we look at the exponential moving average, the weekly exponential moving average is a very strong moving average, as we know, because historically, as we've known, that every time we move away from it, we have a habit of coming back down to test it from here down to there, from there down to here, etc. So I've shown you that before. Now, currently, we're quite far away from this 21 weekly moving average, and it's not usually that we're very, very far away from it. As you can see, we don't move far away before a correction ensues. So it's just a matter of time, maybe this week, maybe next week, before we get the final green candles, and then we move back towards the 21 weekly exponential moving average. And currently, this is at around 12,300. Certainly, I won't be buying into Bitcoin until the price meets the 21 weekly. Wherever it is, that for me would be a great entry point. If we look at the hash ribbons, we still haven't had a buy signal here yet. Although this is obviously, people are making good money over here, and FOMO is pushing people into the market and sucking people in here. But as we know with Bitcoin, it has a habit of punishing the Bitcoin bulls when it gets to these types of levels where the price is very, very high and everybody's FOMOing in. So because we haven't had a buy signal here, I certainly wouldn't be getting into it. But as you can see, we're still in the red here. And it may well be, as you can see from the previous history, when we are in the red, there does tend to be a correction occurring after that. So if we're in the red here, as you can see, this red here, there is a correction on the way there between that and that. So at the beginning, it might still be rising as it was here, but when eventually it tops off, and this is the case all the time with Bitcoin. As you can see, throughout this red, you've got a correction ensuing. So are we going to get the same here? Only time will tell. It looks like we're in the red here. We haven't had a correction of any significant amount here. So it may well be that this is giving us another indicator that possibly there's one on the way. If we have a look at two further indicators, I'll put them side by side, and then people can make up their own mind. This is on the weekly chart, this is the RSI and the stochastic RSI. They're slightly different indicators with different momentums and what have you, but they both tend to be showing a very clear picture of what normally tends to happen. So if we look at the RSI first, we can see that we're really at around about the 80 mark. And historically, if you have a look, if we draw the 80 line here, it's not many times, apart from this end of the bull market last time in 2017, that it reached much higher levels than that. So it looks to me that if you look at the tops here, it tends to be followed by a correction. Again, even this top didn't even reach 80, but there was a big correction there. And this one here, in the last correction that we had, from this point to that point, again, it came back down. So maybe this is indicating that we're very close to the top. Yes, the market can carry on going a little bit here for another couple of weeks before it tops off. It can do that, obviously. But certainly this is not a point for me anyway, an entry point to buy into Bitcoin. This is just a case of wait and see, and just remain emotionally patient until you get an opportunity to buy in. So the RSI seems to be topping off, and it has been for the last couple of weeks actually, but the price is defying that and carrying on the upward trajectory. But it's only so much it can go up. That's the point. So there has to be a little bit of caution here. If we look at the stochastic RSI, the momentum's been very, very strong, as you can see from here. But what does it tell you on here now? Yes, we can go on a little bit further like we did here, but we can top off here like we did up at this point. So yes, we can go further on, but it does seem to be topping off again. We'll wait and see what happens here, but certainly this indicators, just like the RSI, is showing us that the price is coming to the top of its current run at the moment. If you want to support our channel, all you'll have to do is go down below one of my videos here, and in the description box there's an affiliate link for the Etoro trading platform, and below that are the reasons why I use the Etoro platform and why it's such a fantastic platform to use. And for all those people who have already used this affiliate link to support the channel, thank you very much indeed. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you want to support us further, you can always click the like button here and join the Wisdom Bites community here by subscribing to our channel. If we have a look at the altcoin, and the main one I want to look at is Ethereum, and we compare that with Bitcoin in the last bull market, and I marked this out, that if we take the final 12-13 months of the previous bull market from around November 2016 all the way to around about the time when Bitcoin topped off around the middle of December 2017, then this is the picture that it's actually portraying. That if you can see, about halfway, the Ethereum price against the Bitcoin actually rose dramatically. So the performance of Ethereum in the first 6 months of the last year of the last bull market, the first 6 months, it really took off, i.e. maybe it was catching up on its price. Like currently, it's about 3 times less than what it was at its all-time high, whereas Bitcoin is obviously less than half, less than 20% of its high. So it's basically doing this. But in the last 6 months, when there was a parabolic rise in the Bitcoin price, it outperformed Ethereum very sharply as well. So what does this really say? For me anyway, I see this as that it's a good opportunity just to keep the Ethereum and the Bitcoin side by side, because we don't know whether this is going to repeat itself again. However, it is a guide that this is what tends to happen. But if you start second guessing the market, then you end up losing out on these types of moves. So for me anyway, I would be inclined to keep hold of my Ethereum and alongside my Bitcoin, and with the other altcoins as well. And hopefully that when you get to the end of the bull market around here, obviously it's going to be in 2021, then that is where we need to make a decision, so we can see where the market has been going and we can make a better decision at the end of the bull market. Okay, we'll wrap it up there. Please remember, if you found value in this video, then please do remember to like, subscribe, and to turn on the notification bell. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.